Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 6, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. Sloka 5. Uddhared ātmanātmānaṁ, nātmānam avasādayet, ātmaiva ātmano bandhur, ātmaiva ripur ātmanāh. In the sloka, how to practice what has been mentioned above will be explained. What we saw previously, 3 things, that is, being free from all the matters. Number 2, free from activities that drives one towards the matter. Number 3, free from the desire of wanting to achieve those matters. Matters are the sense objects. This sloka and the following sloka tells us that it all starts with our mind. Therefore, the mind has to be dealt carefully is the theme of these 2 slokas. How to curb our mind. What role does the mind play within us? These are the subject of these 2 slokas. We'll see the 5th sloka, word by word meaning. ātmanā, by the mind. ātmanam, the soul. uddhared, one must deliver. That is, should lift from samsara. Deliver means being free from the samsara. ātmana, by mind, that is attached to the sense objects. ātmanam, oneself. Never. avasādayet, put into degradation or into any trouble. That is, avasādayet, should not trouble. ātmanaḥ, to oneself. ātmaiva, the mind alone. bandhur, his friend. ātmaiva, only the mind itself. ātmanaḥ, to oneself. ripur, his enemy. Translation: one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Here in the sloka, in the next sloka as well, the term Atma will be repeated several times. Here in the sloka, it is repeated at least 7 times, but they are not of same meaning. It is either Atma, the self, or Atma, that is the manas, the mind, has been mentioned, which is interchangeably used in this sloka. One might ask, why can't Krishna be more specific in his usage? There is no any lack of words. So why is he using the same word, which makes it complicated? In several places in Bhagavad Gita, we'll see Brahman, Atma, and so forth repeatedly, but they have different context. Answer is, then it will not be Bhagavad Gita, the word of God, the song of God. It has to have its richness in delivering the message. It's coming from Krishna. Of course, Arjuna clearly understood the meaning without any confusion. If Krishna had spoken the way that we are expecting the Bhagavad Gita to be, then it is no more Bhagavad Gita. It will be a purport. It will be a commentary in its format. So we should understand who is speaking Bhagavad Gita. It is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, the usage of words and its richness is all going to be like this. Now coming to our discussion here, understanding of the sloka. Mind is both friend and enemy. So don't need to look our friends and enemy outside of us. Both are within us. Only thing is, outside, they are two different parties, but within ourselves, it's the same one entity which acts as friend and enemy. Now the question is, how is that mind is more dangerous enemy than my other enemies like Duryodhana, Dushasana, and etc.? The enemy that you have in your life, Arjuna, actually is your true friend, but your mind is not. He challenges you directly, the enemy that you think who is present in front of you. He challenges you directly, he fights with you directly, he criticizes you directly, he is physical and visible in front of you, he is external. In general, our friends and enemies are individual parties. Moreover, he gives you frustration and hopelessness. Why? Because of that, you lose interest in material things and develop interest in detachment. In that way, the friend that we have externally, the enemies that we have externally are our true friends, because they give frustration and hopelessness in our life. Therefore, we get more detached into material aspects and get involved in the spiritual aspect. Therefore, these enemies are, in real terms, our friends. If our friends were good with us, then imagine what's going to happen. Then you, Arjuna, wouldn't come to this illusion. If you are not deluded, then you wouldn't have surrendered unto me. If you have not surrendered, then I wouldn't have spoken any of these things to you. If you haven't received any of these messages from me, then you will have no clue about Atma and Deha, body and soul. When you have no clue, you don't know the difference between Atma and body, then you will continue thinking Atma to be the body, Dehatma Abhimana. When you continue with that idea, obviously you will continue your journey in this material world, which is full of dualities. Therefore, Duryodhana-like people are helping us in many ways to learn our life and to become serious spiritually. Same applies within our family members as well. Our spouse, our children can also drive us to that point. But a wise person who take this an opportunity and be thankful for the situation will march towards Krishna, march towards Vaikuntha, rather dwell further and get deeply rooted into the material existence. So we have to understand the enemies that we have are our true friends. Also, we need to know that our true friends are our real enemies. Let's see how. If we have a good friend, then that friend is not going to see any faults in our doing. Even though we may commit unlimited mistakes, he only sees good in us because he is being our well-wisher, good friend. If he is not going to see the fault, then he will not correct us, our mistake. If he doesn't correct us, our mistakes, then we will not know our mistake. We will continue doing what we are doing and we will not improve. If we don't improve, then we will degrade further. That means the true friend does the same job of a real enemy, isn't it? So, the important point is that whomever we think are our enemies are not really our enemies, and whomever we think are our friends are not really our friends. The real enemy and a true friend are within us, and these two are same entity, and that is our mind. Let's see how. Unlike the other, there's a vast difference to this mind. It doesn't challenge us directly like our enemy who challenges us directly. The mind doesn't fight with us directly, unlike our enemies who fights with us directly. Our mind doesn't criticize us directly, unlike our enemies. The mind is not physical and visible in front of us, unlike our enemies. A mind is internal, whereas our enemies are external. Moreover, mind gives joy and hopes, whereas our enemies give frustration and hopelessness. Mind gives joys and hopes. By giving so, we like to continue our existence further in this world. Unlike where we get frustrated by our other enemies and we don't want to take any more birth again into this world because we had enough of with these people. But the mind doesn't play that game. So our mind is both friend and enemy, is to be clear from this. In fact, for our external enemies, a great saint by name Pillai Lokacharya says how one has to behave. We have to show friendships to everyone. Number 2, show compassion even to those who are committing offenses. Number 3, laugh at them. Number 4, be thankful. And number 5, be forgiving. Let's understand these things. A person should be good to everyone, show friendship to everyone. That we can understand from what we have seen so far. We shouldn't differentiate people. Then when it comes to compassion, showing compassion to those who have committed offenses against us, how we can show compassion? Compassion exhibited within us by thinking sad for what reaction that they will get for their misdeeds that they are committing. In that way, we show compassion for them. uddhared ātmanātmānaṁ, nātmānam avasādayet, ātmaiva ātmano bandhur, ātmaiva ripur ātmanāḥ. Namaste. Hare Krishna.